Hey guys, it's Uri here, producer and violinist, and welcome to my first video tutorial. Today I'm just going to show you how to set up a template in FL Studio, and this is a really good way to get started. So first we're going to make 4 different groups. Start by right-clicking, linking it to a track, insert in the mixer. So we're going to click insert 1. Now it's linked here. Alright, now we can name it drums. Alright, so now we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna right click, we're gonna name it, we're gonna link it to an audio track to insert 2. And let's name this one bass. Track mode, audio track 3. And we will name this one instruments. Okay. Audio track 4. Alright, and we're going to name this one effects. So we've got our 4 groups of instruments here. Now we're going to color them, whatever. This can be red. This can be purple. This can be whatever, blue, right? Nah, let's make it green. Teal. Sea green, that's what they call it. And I don't know, orange. So got our tracks. Let's put a separator to make these individual groups. We're going to put a separator. Right click separator. Right click separator. Right click separator. And we're going to make this one called blank because that's how FL Studio works. And it's really annoying if you don't do this. So I recommend doing this. Also, this color doesn't fit. There we go. It's much better. And you know what? Let's make the master blue. Just feel like it. So we're going to right click on this track, I. That means it inserts a track. We're going to right click G, which groups it. So we're going to do the same thing. Right click I, right click G. Right click I, right click G. I, G. I didn't need to do it for that one. Okay. Now we'll do it again for drums 2 more times. Got 3 here. Alright, now let's find some sounds on splice. Yeah, this one's good. Okay, so we're going to drag it onto this track. On top. Not here. On top. Now let's create an audio track. Let's find a snare. Okay, I'll drag this one on here. Audio track. And we'll get a hi-hat. Yeah, probably don't need that, so I don't know. Let's get this one. Okay. So we're going to right click for the hi-hats. We're going to add a instrument track, okay? Sampler. This is so that we can use our hi-hats in MIDI. We're going to double click on the sampler. It's empty. There's no sounds in there. Drag your sound into the sampler and now it's there. It's all sampled. Okay, now unclick loop points if you don't want to loop. And so now you can double click on your pattern and you can just draw notes, So just draw them, okay? And if you want to loop that, you just select up here by right-clicking. And then once these are highlighted, you click Control B and it duplicates. So if you want to duplicate the whole thing, there you go. That did not work. Whoa. Okay, by the way, undo is Control Alt Z. Alright, so highlight everything. Whoa, what is going on here? Okay, there we go. We just duplicated again. That was embarrassing. Okay, now let's rename. We got our kick. We got our snare. Got our hi-hat. And let's color the group by doing right-click, auto color group. Now it's all colored. And we can drag these by doing shift scroll up. And we're going to click here, shift scroll up, click here, shift scroll up. And now we're going to select all 3 of these, right click and route to this track only. Now all 3 of these are sent to our drum bus. So if we just do a really basic beat, this is all you need for a template. Just a really basic, terrible beat. Okay, I mean, these are This sounds terrible. So you don't need it to sound good. It's just a template. So if you want to mute these, you can just do Alt M. Now they're muted. Unmute. Whoa. Unmute. To select, by the way, it's Control click. So to unmute, you do Alt Shift M. And you can change these hotkeys if you want. You can just look up how to do it. But I'm going to mute these for now. And it's a template. Bass. Let's get a sub. Nothing crazy. Track mode. Instrument track. 3 exhaust. Free. FL Studio. Drag this into our bass. Then we'll route to this track only. We're going to auto color. And we're going to call this sub. So we got a sub going. If you want to just sine wave, so nothing crazy. My mouse keeps failing on me. This is just for the template, guys. All right, we got our bass sound and instrument. Let's insert right click I. Let's insert an instrument here. Call it, let's say, let's just get a free piano. Where is it? Keyzone Classic. Hopefully it loads. Okay, it loaded. Drag this into our instruments. Yeah, everything I'm using today is free, by the way. Or it comes with FL Studio. Piano. Okay. Let's just make a C major chord because we can. That sounds horrible. Okay. And we'll click on it. There we go. Okay. Mute this one. Alt M, remember. And FX, I don't know. Let's do a crash symbol. Okay. Audio track. Let's call this crash. Drag this here, send it. And auto color. All right. Now let's make a reverb send. So let's do some reverb, rename this reverb, and let's color it pink because I feel like it. Now we're going to put some reverb on it. Let's use the fruity reverb. Take the dry all the way down because the dry is the sound that's coming in and the wet is the sound that's coming out of the plugin. So we want no sound from the dry because that's already coming in from these tracks that we're going to send to the reverb. So decay up, it's the amount of time that it's being reverbed. Size, let's bring it up, I guess. I don't know. This is just temporary. You'll change this when you're making your track. So let's send the instruments to our reverb. So we're just gonna click on it. So now if we hear it, it's being reverb. Kind of sounds bad, but this is a template. This is how you start all your tracks. This is not what a track's gonna sound like. This is how you start them. You go from there. And this is only how I recommend doing it. You don't have to do it this way, but this is how I like it. So we've got our reverb and all of our tracks and our groups. Now how I like to make my actually let's put this over here. Oh no, don't put it over there. Maybe the no separator. Put this here and put a separator. There we go. Okay, now what I like to do is I like to set up my track so that it's easy as possible for me to edit it later. So I'm going to put a gain plugin, which is volume. It's actually called the utility. It's volume and panning. So volume panning. And I also like to put an EQ. So parents, these all come with FL Studio. And I just like to put it on there. So I'm going to do this for all of them because it makes everything so convenient if I ever want to change the volume, automate the volume, or anything. It just makes it so much easier. Now for instruments and effects, we're going to do a low cut. So the reason is because there's lots of low end and we don't want low end and things that aren't going to have low end. bass and drums are the only things that's going to have low end, because drums has kick, bass has obviously bass. So we're just going to do right click, type high pass, drag this over to about 120. Doesn't actually matter exactly. And we're going to do this thing over here like that. All right. There we go. Low cut. Same thing here. Do a gain plugin. And we're going to low cut. High pass. It's called a high pass actually, but it's the same thing. 120. And you can change this later. This is just to help you set up your project. Also, you definitely want a reverb on your EQ. An EQ on your reverb, my bad. Definitely want to high cut this one. You want to have a little less steep slope, by the way. But yeah, you're going to change all this when time comes. Okay, and then last thing, I like to have, ignore this, by the way. This is just for my recording. You want to have your Ulan loudness meter. And this is important for measuring loudness later when you're finished with a track, which, you know, other people have videos about this. I can do it in another video. But, and span, which is basically like a spectrum analyzer. I also like to have an EQ, but this is basically what your template is going to look like. So whenever you want to add a track, you're going to insert one. You're going to right click and you're going to say, oh, it's going to be an audio track or an instrument track. If it's an audio track, you're going to send it. If it's an instrument track, you're going to select one instrument. And then you're going to take it here, drag it over to whatever group you want to put it in. And then you're going to send it to the bus. It's called the bus, I guess, or aux track. I don't really know which one it is called at this point, but you're going to send it to the track you want. So if I was drum, I would send it to the drums. If it was bass, I would send it to the bass. If it was an instrument, I'm going to send it to an instrument. And if it's an FX, if it's an effect, I would send it to the effects channel, which is all going to the master. So yeah, and you know, if you want to have more of these, you don't have a delay, then you just add it here and you'd send whatever track you want to send it to the delay So now all we got to do is save our template and make it automatically come up when we open FL Studio. So we're going to do save. We're going to go into, I'll just show you the file path. Program files, image line, FL Studio, data, templates. We're going to call it, I had a failed one for this, so I'm going to call it temp 4%, replace it. Now I'm going to go here, go to general, down here, default template, it's going to be template 4.7. And now when you start up your projects, it'll be the basic template. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you learned how to use FL Studio a little bit, and hopefully you don't get stuck in bad habits, and hopefully this will set you on the right track for being a successful musician. All right, see you next time. Thanks for watching.